Okay, let's see if it works this time. Welcome to Tuesdays Live with Lauren. So I'm going to start calling it. I am going live every week on Tuesdays now to answer your questions from my poll. As many of you know, if you're joining in, say hi. Hi, Stephanie. Hi. You're joining. Say hi. If you're joining, hi, Sam. Hi, Jackie. Hi, Salfa. Hi, Sarah. So amazing to see so many of you here. I am going to start going live on Tuesdays to answer questions. So I get so many questions that come in through the DMs, that come in through email, that come in through the Q&A polls that I do on my stories on Mondays. So I am dedicated to going live now on Tuesdays to answer questions because I do not have time to answer all of them directly in the DMs. So this is your chance, if you've asked me a question in the past, to watch and see if you get your answer to your question. My team has been diligently collecting all of the questions and putting them in a massive spreadsheet for me. So I don't look at these questions before I join. This is just some real-time coaching and education and inspiration based on the questions that you guys asked me. So Nessa, thank you so much. I love that you love my content. If you are joining in, please say hello. Know that if you are here and you are in my community, you are family. And I know that we are here on a screen and social media, but I really deeply do love every single one of my followers. I love hearing from you all. I love hearing your questions. I wish that I could clone myself and answer every question that comes in through my inbox, but I don't have the time supporting people in my containers. But it is really great to be here with all of you and to get to spend some time with you here in these Tuesday lives. So if you are joining in, and you're here hanging out with me for the next 15, 20 minutes or so, say hello in the comment box. Let me know where you're joining in from. So let me know where you are in the world. I am here for the time being in Nashville, Tennessee. I travel quite a bit. As many of you know, if you've been following me, you're actually getting me in my apartment here in Nashville. Tuesdays are my admin days. So you're getting me in my comfy clothes. And we're just gonna hang out on the couch together and I'm gonna answer some questions for you. So say hello if you're joining in, and I will try to keep my eyeballs on the comment box. Love, we've got somebody here from Chicago. Hi, Jax. So nice to have you here. We've got somebody from Charlotte. Hi, Tina. Yeah, keep dropping where you guys are from. Berlin, all over the world. This is what's so wonderful. We've got somebody from Canada. Oh my gosh, so many people from Canada here, which I love. Okay, beautiful. Let me get to questions because I'm just gonna be here. I'm gonna be distracted from where everybody is. Okay, first question that I'm gonna answer today. Can you get attraction back after someone has hurt you? Fantastic question. And here's how I wanna answer this. I truly believe that in partnership, every person is always growing. Now, if you have been hurt and there was a sever in the relationship, so you all decided to go your separate ways, and both of you did not take the time and the space to get curious around why the other person was hurt or why the conflict actually happened, you're going to be repeating patterns. So you have to do the work to come home to yourself, to really get curious around why that person hurt you, and also holding that person accountable to asking themselves these same questions. And if you both commit to growth and you both commit to getting curious around what created this hurt and this sever in the first place, then I do believe that there is a reality that does exist where you can mend and you can have conscious conversation and you both can come back together and you can mend the relationship. And you can be open and honest and have these deep conscious conversations. The problem is that most people get into conflict and they haven't learned proper communication skills. They haven't learned how to have nonviolent communication. They haven't done the work to ask themselves the hard questions, because here's the reality. If you are hurt in a partnership, or if you are hurt in the severing of a relationship, it's not always the other person's fault. There does come a time where you have to ask yourself, how is this a reflection of the way that I am showing up for myself? How is this a reflection of how I showed up in the relationship? Where can I take responsibility for my part in this happening, right? Because even, and this is hard, right? If you're in my programs, I talk about this a lot. I was in a relationship, and really what spurred my growth journey years and years and years ago was that I was in a relationship with a man I deeply loved, and he cheated on me. And I was a victim for so long. I blamed him for so long. I can't believe he would do this to me. I was so great to him. He was such an awful person. And it took a lot of healing to get to the point where I was able to say, wait a second, pause. It takes two people to be in partnership. Where was I not showing up for myself? Where did I abandon myself that led to this happening inside of the partnership, right? And when I got really honest with myself, I realized that a lot of my worth was placed in him inside of that relationship. My happiness, my joy, my contentment, my feeling worthy enough to be loved, it was all placed on him. And because I was placing that on him, I was going outside of myself to feel that sense of validation. And so the act of him cheating, not that it's ever okay to cheat on someone, but he was going outside of the relationship to get a hit of validation. I was going to him to get a hit of validation. So whenever there is conflict inside of a partnership, or whenever there is conflict inside of any sort of relationship, whether it's platonic or romantic, you've got to start to ask yourself the harder questions. Where do I get to take responsibility? Where am I not acknowledging myself? Where am I not claiming my worth? Where did I not listen to my intuition? Where have I not been showing up with compassion? Where have I not been listening to their needs? Where can I do better? How can I do better? And when you start to show up for yourself underneath that lens, it gives permission for someone else to do the same or not do the same. And then it becomes really clear whether or not that relationship can be repaired, right? So oftentimes people will think, well, do I just sit around and wait for the other person to realize what they did? No. You take it as an opportunity to pour into yourself so that you can start to ask yourself the harder questions. And when you start to do the internal work, the relationship will either repair itself or it will fall away because it's no longer in alignment with the new identity that you've chosen now that you have decided to heal, right? So every point of conflict inside of a partnership is an invitation for you to look deeper inside of yourself. So the answer is yes, you can get attraction back after someone has hurt you if you are willing to go inside, and also if that person is willing to go inside and you both can come back together. I truly believe that conflict and a severing of humans, it can actually grow the attraction even deeper because you are getting to the bottom of what caused the conflict and what caused the lack of attraction to happen in the first place. So the answer is yes, if you are both committed to doing work. Okay, someone asked, so yesterday I posted a Q&A and it was a woman, very beautiful picture of a woman and a man having a tender moment. Someone asked, is this you in the picture? The answer is no, that is not me in the picture. It was, I don't know, a picture that my team found on the internet. So not me, but great question. Let's see, a guy that I have been dating for 2 months has been pulling back while he's on, I don't know what HOLS mean, but I'm guessing on hold. I don't know. How do I deal? So the first thing that I would ask you if you ask this question is, have you used your voice to communicate to him that you feel as though he has pulled back? And that's the first place to start. Because when you're not using your voice to speak how you feel in relationship to someone else, you're blindly walking in the dark, making assumptions and creating stories. So the first thing that you need to do if you feel like someone has pulled back inside of a partnership is use your voice to actually ask and tell them how you feel. So a great way to do this would be, hey, I feel disappointed. The story that I've created is that you've pulled back and that you're no longer interested in pursuing this relationship. What I need to feel safe and to continue to move this relationship forward is for us to be able to discuss this. Is something coming up for you? Can I hold space for you? Are you going through something? Are you feeling the same way? And a secure man, and on the flip side, a secure woman will be open to that conversation, will be able to have that conversation. And if they cannot have that conversation, that's honestly giving you everything that you need to make a decision as to whether or not you should stay dating this person or move forward. Quite frankly, I would never stay dating someone who couldn't have that type of conversation. If I felt like I couldn't be honest and open and communicative with someone, they're not the right person for me, because I am in a space of security, and I know that the number one thing that keeps a partnership together is communication. If you are dating someone who cannot communicate, that's a really big sign for you. It's going to be difficult to have a healthy partnership if you both cannot communicate open and freely. So the way that you deal with it is you communicate it and you get it out into the open, and then you have a conversation around it. And the beautiful thing about conversations is that you then are laid out the facts. If he says, yeah, I'm really not feeling like I'm into this partnership anymore, or I'm not really feeling it anymore, I think it's time for us to step away. You have your answer, and you're no longer in this space of rumination. But the only way that you're going to get an answer is to use your voice and ask the question. Okay. Next question. This is a big one, so hang tight with me because it's a long one. I need some relationship advice, please. I've been talking to this girl for over a month. We've gone out on 4 dates now. She tells me things that I'm absolutely wonderful. She enjoys how kind and sweet I am, that I'm a part of her life these days, and if she's ever busy and can't respond, that she will let me know ahead of time. She says that she tells me everything anyways. She randomly FaceTime calls me here and there. It's only been 2 times that she's done this. After date number 3, she asked if she could bug me again that same week, so we went on date number 4. While on date number 4, she mentioned she wanted me to meet her friends. I really like this girl. I really want to be in a relationship with her, but I don't know if she's wanting the same thing. We haven't kissed. We haven't held hands. We haven't even talked about how we feel about one another. We just continue to go on dates when I ask her. Can you please give me advice? Just recently, I've noticed her messages are a little shorter than what they used to be, and she's also taking quite a bit of time to reply back. Can you give me advice? Okay. Men, listen up. Women want you to be direct. If you like her, if you want to pursue her, if you want to date her, use your voice and tell her. Tell her. Ask her how she's feeling. Say, I'm really into you. I'm having a great time together. I could see a future potential with us. I'm curious, how do you feel? You guys, it blows my mind how many people sit at home and ruminate about how someone is feeling, and they don't use their voice to actually ask them. Women want to be pursued. I respect a man who is direct, who knows what he wants, and can clearly communicate that to me. Because I do the same. I'm going to communicate that same thing to a man that I am interested in. Okay? You have to be assertive. You have to. What women find an extreme turnoff is a man who just kind of flounders and is non-committal and doesn't know what he wants and isn't assertive and doesn't know how to use his voice and doesn't know how to insert himself in a masculine way and say, this is how I feel. Even if the conversation is, hey, you're really great. I don't know how I feel right now, but I would really love to continue to get to know you. Or on the flip side, hey, you're a really great woman. I don't see this going anywhere further. This is not in alignment with what I desire for partnership long term. I think it's best that we go our separate ways. Both of those show signs of a healthy man. also shows signs of a healthy woman, someone who can use their voice to articulate what it is that they desire in partnership. If you are having a hard time using your voice to claim what it is that you desire, or to speak to the opposite sex, or really to claim anything in your life that you desire, you've got to start doing the deeper somatic work, the deeper nervous system work around why using your voice feels unsafe. Chances are it's really deeply ingrained in a fawn response that needs to be looked at and renegotiated inside of your system. Okay, you've got to start doing the deeper work to understand why it's so difficult for you to use your voice. But you haven't told her how you feel. She's going around blindly, just doing what she does, right? Because that's what the feminine does. And so if you want to date her, you need to use your voice to ask her. Simply put. Okay, next question. How can somatic work help chronic body pain? Ooh, great question. So this is a little bit different than dating and relationships. Okay, let me break this down in the most simple way that I can. Let's start with the definition of trauma. Trauma is an overwhelming event that happened too fast, too much, or too soon for the body to properly get to safety. Okay? And what happens, so trauma is not the event itself. If something happens to you in the past, trauma is not, and people throw this word around. People are like, oh my gosh, that was so traumatic. Okay? The event itself is not trauma. The trauma is the stuck psychosomatic response to an overwhelming event that was too fast, too much, too soon. Okay, so I left that part out of the first definition. So it is the response to an event that happened too fast, too much, too soon for your body to properly get to safety, for your body to properly renegotiate to safety. So I'm going to use a very off-the-wall example for this. Let's say that you were in a car wreck. You were in a horrible car wreck. And if you've ever been on the scene of a car wreck and you've seen somebody go into shock and you've also seen the ambulance show up, there's so much happening, right? Paramedics are taking your blood pressure. They're maybe administering CPR. They are putting you on a stretcher. They're poking, they're prodding. People are asking you if you're okay. There's all of this interruption and your body just experienced something too fast, too much, too soon. Your body probably went into a trauma response, a flight response, a fight response, a freeze response in order to stay safe. When you're in shock, you go into a heightened state of freeze. If the body has proper space to be able to get to safety, it will naturally start to deactivate. But when you have experienced something that is too fast, too much, too soon, and there weren't the correct conditions for your body to get to safety and to deactivate that survival response, what ends up happening is that survival response gets stuck in your system. It gets stuck, it gets halted. It doesn't have time to get to safety. Now here's the deal. When you are in a survival response, your primary function shut down. Okay? Hormone production shuts down. Your ability to regulate your heart rate shuts down. Your metabolism slows down. All of these, your immunity starts to suppress because all that your body is doing is trying to keep you alive. It starts to shut down these processes that need space and time and safety to run properly, right? So if you have been stuck in trauma for an extended period of time, if you have, let's say, several traumatic events that have sent your nervous system into a baseline of survival, and you've been living in that baseline of survival for an extended period of time, the body starts to break down because it's in a survival response. It's not using this space of safety to properly run your immunity and your metabolism and your hormone function and all of these, your digestion, all of these vital processes that are so vital for you to live in a moment-to-moment, day-to-day basis, okay? So this is why we see over an extended period of time, people's bodies start to break down. You may have digestion issues. You may have immunity issues. You may have, musculoskeletal issues. If your body went into if you were in a car wreck and your body went into a brace state to keep you safe, that survival response of bracing gets stuck in your system. And if you haven't had the correct time and space to renegotiate that braced state, that's going to start to break down your body. You're going to start to feel pain. You're going to start to have digestion issues. You're going to have metabolism issues. You're going to have hormonal issues. You're going to have immunity issues. You're going to have cognitive issues because your body is not designed to be in a baseline of survival all the time. So to answer this question, how can somatic work help chronic body pain? When you start to do the renegotiation work and you start to get your body out of a baseline of survival and you start to bring health and safety back on board, you give those survival responses the proper container to renegotiate to safety, immunity turns back on, digestion turns back on, hormone regulation turns back on. You no longer brace. I've actually seen people's bodies physically relax after a braced state. And they're like, oh my gosh, my neck doesn't hurt anymore. This weird pain I have in my shoulder doesn't hurt anymore. My gut doesn't hurt anymore. Because when you give yourself the ability to shift your baseline from survival to safety, your body starts to function in the way that it was optimally designed to function. But the problem is that so many of us have experienced trauma, and we're not just talking big T trauma from a car wreck. We're talking about relational trauma, right? A father who told you to quit crying, a really awful heartbreak that you experienced when you were 16 that left you in a chronic state of flight and feeling like you can't trust men or women. All of these scenarios, there's no one traumatic event that's more important than another one. All of these scenarios start to break down your body because your body goes into a survival response. It didn't have the proper conditions to renegotiate to safety. And next thing you know, your body starts to break down. Okay? So all of these, somebody just wrote in the comments, PTSD, anxiety, IBS, thyroid problems, low concentration, memory loss, fatigue, all of these, any sort of autoimmune disorder. I have seen a lot of these issues reverse themselves as a result of coming out of survival, of coming out of panic, of coming out of protection, because the body actually feels like it can optimally function again. This is why I've had women inside of my programs who have lost 60 pounds, who have gotten off of thyroid medications, who have completely changed hormonal issues that they've been having, right? Women who've been able to conceive and have babies who were told that they would never be able to conceive. Women who reversed IBS. It's, even though I'm not sitting here, I'm the health coach. When you do somatic work, you start to bring the body back online. You get out of survival, right? And this is very much what I do in all of my programs. The collective program, my home program, which started yesterday. Oh my gosh, the shares that are coming through, and it's only in day 2, which is wild to me. We had our first workshop yesterday. If you're interested in home, you should come join me. It is my monthly membership. You can join, you can cancel at any time. You get a 30-minute workshop with me. Yesterday, we did a workshop on building a daily somatic practice for self-care. Like, what does it look like to approach self-care from a somatic lens? Looking at how your body is functioning in a moment-to-moment basis and what's best for you. Not the morning routine that everybody tells you need to be doing, cold plunging, breath work, running 8 miles, not drinking coffee before X. What does your body need, right? I did a workshop on that yesterday. So you get one 30-minute workshop with me every month. You get a 90-minute group somatic therapy session with me every single month. You get access to my Telegram group where I do a private mini training on Fridays. You can ask Q&A. I do podcast and book recommendations. There's a whole community of women who are also dedicated to this work. It's a really beautiful container. It launched yesterday. We currently have 30 women in it, which is wild to me. And it's month to month. You can cancel whenever you want. So if you're interested in that, you can drop the word home in the comments below or send me a DM and I'll send you more information. But this is the work. This is what it looks like to do the work and be dedicated to it. Right? It doesn't just change the way that you attract people into your lives, right? It also changes the relationship that you have to your body and to your health. It changes the relationship that you have to money, because how you do one thing is how you do everything. And so if you're operating in a baseline of survival all the time, chances are you're waking up and you're like, I don't really love this life I've created. Because you're in survival, you're not in safety, you're not in connection. So I think I have time for one more quick question. Let's see, I do. One more quick question and then we'll be done with Q&A for today. Okay, he is not the one, but I find it a real struggle to detach myself. We still meet up for coffee, walks, and sex. Well, here's what I'm going to ask you. What are you committed to? If you are committed to finding and attracting your aligned partner, so an aligned partnership, if that is what you are committed to, then holding on to someone who is not that is going to block you from it. I talk about this in my Manifest Your Dream Relationship training, that we have what are called toxic agreements. When you hold on to something that you know is not meant for you, and you have a deep desire to meet someone who is meant for you, who you do have a deep connection with, who can do life with you, who does want commitment, does want marriage, does want babies, does want to build a future with you, if you continue to hold on to people that are not in alignment with what you desire, you are blocking yourself from receiving the person that you actually do deeply desire. You are. And many people will say, oh, well, I met my significant other when I was just like out there, dating and having a good time. And 10 times out of 10, every single person that has said that to me, I said, okay, how much work did you have to do once you realized that was your person? And they said, a lot. I said, okay, if you would have claimed your worth inside of yourself and been open to receiving everything that you deeply desire, chances are that would have came in with a lot more ease. So the longer that you hold on to something that is not meant for you, you are blocking yourself from receiving what is fully. So, all right. Thank you all so much. Hopefully this was helpful. Make sure that you tune in next week. If you have any further questions, I know somebody just asked, we'll add this. So Laura Lee, come back next week. What if I'm in a sexless marriage? But other than that, it's happy. I'll answer that next week. That's a fantastic question. If you have any further questions, make sure that you guys ask them to me in the DMs and I will make sure that I get to them. I love all of you so much. I will see you next Tuesday for the weekly Q&A. And until then, take care of yourself. If you're interested in home, send me a DM. I love you guys so much.